Hey guys, Bob Taylor with iMusicAcademy. Good morning everyone. I've been doing late night lessons, now I'm going to do a morning lesson. And what we're going to do is take an example from Blues Volume 2, I think it's number 7, and I embedded the sheet music so you guys can see the fingerings we're going to use, but also I want to make sure that I show you not only the original bass line, but we're going to do this new bass line that we've been working on for our previous examples. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And if you notice in the last 4 or 5 videos, I've been using this bass line, and that is because I want this to be ingrained into your playing, into your all these licks that you're doing and ideas. I want you to be able to be as comfortable with this bass line 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and as you should be at this point with the 8th note pattern we've been doing. So the original way to play this lick, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, and let me play it really slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And I'm going to break down the lick in just a minute, so no worries there. So let's go ahead and start learning the lick. Before we do that, we're going to learn make sure we know the left hand. This pattern, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it's a kind of a Latin feel or a New Orleans type feel. I kind of think of it like an island feel for me, like I was at the beach. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So let's go ahead and learn the notes. The first thing we're going to do is look at section 1. I'm going to break this up into 2 sections, and then we'll put it all together. So right hand only right now, the very first thing I notice is that in the key of C, that's a flat 3rd and a 6th note up at top, and I like the fingerings 2 and 5. And so I go 2, 5, and notice that I slide up to from the E flat to the E in my right hand, and then my 4th finger comes down and gets that G. And notice that there's your C triad, right? So if I'm looking at all of these notes, it works, you think of it like a C minor 6th, but then once you get there, it's C major, straight up C major chord. Now, once you get here, and this is, let me back up and say that this is section 1, and you might just want to practice that for a while. Now the next part, the important part, is when you cross over. When you cross over with your thumb, you're going to go to your sharp 5 of the key, which is C. It's your sharp 5 is G sharp, and then your D is your 2nd note. 2, 5 on the A flat. You can think of it A flat, D, to A and C. Let me do that again slowly. And then guess what? It starts over again, the very first part of the lick. And that's why I said 2 sections, because you can think of it section 1. Section 2 is this right here. And you can actually, if you're playing this lick, you can actually go back, you can go down and back up. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you can go all the way up and down the keys with this lick using just those 2 sections, right, and put them together. So let's put this with the left hand. So the next thing we're going to do is figure out where the beats line up. So here we go. We're going to go 1 and 2 and. Notice that my E lines up with the A flat and D, which is really important because that's the and of 2. That's going to be the tricky spot in this example. 1 and 2 and 3 and the next part 4 and. So the 4 and lines up with the G on the beat with the A flat, the E flat and A. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So notice that I'm practicing it really slowly. That's the way I want you guys to do with all of the examples that I'm showing you. Sometimes you just want to do right hand only, and definitely want to break it up into sections. Section 2, I'm going to work on that for a while, and then maybe I will practice the transition, so getting the thumb over to set up the next section. And then maybe I want to go back up. So now I was here and I went up A flat and D for the section 2. 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Let me do that right. 4. Let me do it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I'm gonna leave that in there. It's sometimes it's easier to play than teach. All right, here we go. Let me do that again. Try to do it slowly and try to explain it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So it's a little bit of a stretch to get back there, and then you have to do it again. So a nice little stretch to get back there as you're going up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I actually didn't even notice that before when I'm playing it or going back up, that it actually feels a lot different going back up because of the little stretch you have to do. All right, now that I'm over that. Okay, so let me also say this, is that we eventually want to be able to play this example in all keys. Okay, now that we've learned the lick, let's go ahead and transpose this into 2 other keys. We're going to use the key of F and C, and the reason I've chosen F and C is because it's the basic chords of a C blues, right? So we have C, F, and G. C chord is the 1 chord, F is the 4 chord, and G is the 5 chord. So let's learn the theory behind the C chord again, and then we'll apply it to F and G. The first thing is the bass line is going to be very easy to transpose. We're on C now, C, E, G, which is the triad. Just remember 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and go to the 4 chord. It's F, and it's going to be an F triad, right? So you do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Same thing for G, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and right. That'll be the easy part. In the right hand, let's talk about the theory behind this example. Let's look at the first section of this lick. It starts on the flat third of the key. So I know my major scale of C, and that E flat is the flat third, and the A is the 6th note. I'm going to use the same fingering for all of these, all 3 of these licks. So here we go. 2, 5, that's the flat third to the major third and the 5th, and there's my C triad, right? So let me go ahead and do that for the key of F. I'm looking for my flat third of the F scale up here and the 6th note of the F scale. Okay, flat third and the 6th. Same fingering. 2, 5, 2, 4. And now I'm working on the triad, right? Flat third, 6th to my triad. That's section 1. Okay, now for a reference, I'm going to go back to C again. Flat third, 6th. There's my triad, and now I'm going to work on the section 2. Now where do I have to go to get to section 2 of the lick? Well, I'm going to start on the sharp 5 of the key and the 2nd note. Okay, so sharp 5 and the 2nd note, and then I go to A and C, which is 6 and root. And this is the second part of the lick, and notice that I'm ending on the 5th note of the key. So I'm looking for the sharp 5, the 2nd, or the 9th, to 6 root, to the 5th. Let me transpose that in the key of F. We're here for the first part of the lick. Now I'm going to look for the sharp 5 and the 9th. And then I'm going to go up to the 6th and the root, and end on the 5th. Now, section 2, I'm just going to practice by itself, right? Isolate that lick. and I'm visualizing. There are a couple of different kinds of ways you can think about this. I do want you to be able to think about the theory, but I can also think about where my fingers are moving to. So if I find the sharp 5th and the 9th, okay, then when I go to the next part of the lick, I know that the bottom's going to go up by a half step and the top's going to go down by a whole step, and then I go down a whole step, and now you're at the 5th. Okay, so let's put this together. And then guess what? Remember that it starts over again. You're doing section 1 again. Let me put that with the left hand. 1 and 2 and. That's the first thing that you need to make sure you're connecting is the and of 2 with the C sharp and the G, right? Sharp 5 and the 9th. And 2 and 3 and 4 and. So 4 and starts the lick over. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now remember when I made that error when I was going back up the keyboard, I have to remember that same thing applies. Here I am on the F. I need to stretch just a little bit more to get back to that C sharp and G. And then I'm doing section 2, section 1. So let me try that slowly. And 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So maybe I want to practice just that, right? If I'm going to go back up, it's a little bit more of a stretch, a little bit more of a stretch. Stretch. It's a great example of when you screw something up and you try to analyze it, break it down, slow it down to do whatever you need to do to figure out why you're having trouble, and then you come up with a solution that will help you not only with that lick, but it just helped me make sure I had that spacing when I go to F. Okay, so we just did 1 chord, the 4 chord, and now let's do the 5 chord, which is G. First thing we know is going to be easy. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to C to make sure I have my theory. So what am I looking for? I'm looking for the flat 3rd and the 6th note, okay? Now I'm going to go up to G and do the same thing, flat 3rd and the 6th, and notice that same fingering, flat 3rd to the 6th to the major 3rd and the 5th, and there's my triad. That's section 1, right? 1 and 2. The next part of the lick I'm looking for sharp 5 of the G scale. There's that, and then my 9th of a G scale is A. Okay, so we have our sharp 5th to our 6th and our root, and we end on the 5th. So 5th of G is D, right? Let me do that very slowly. Again. Crossover. This is the and, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4. Maybe I just need to practice right hand only. 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. Let me do F. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Oops, I messed that up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And then C. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so if you're an absolute beginner, I just want you to focus on just maybe the first part of this, right? So that we're going to learn our C major, make sure we know our C major scale, which is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, which I also think in numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm looking for the 3rd note, and I flat it, lower it by a half step, and I find the 6th note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. I'm good there, and I know it's going to go down to the C triad, C, E, G, which is 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the major scale, right? And I just maybe want to practice that. If I'm a little bit more experienced, maybe I want to do that, just that first section with the left hand. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Notice that I went all the way down the keyboard. What about when I get to F? There are all kinds of little different fun ways you can play that. All right, let's finish up by playing this in the context of a blues. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 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 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. All right, guys, that's enough for today, and enjoyed hanging out with you. I want to say thank you to everybody who's been getting my courses. Blues Volume 1, if you don't have any of my courses, I put it to $7, from $24.99 to $7, and tons of you have been taking advantage of that, and I very much appreciate everything. I hope that you guys like the new lights that I put up. Like, you can see the keyboard now, and I have some extra technology there, and I'm working on kind of ramping up my game for you guys, and so I want to always know how I can better serve you. So thank you so much, and please say hello in the chat, and like this video, comment, and other than that, I will see you guys in the next video.